Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. And today I'm talking about All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This is from St. Martin's Press. And I saved this for the spooky season. This video probably isn't going to go up till November or December, but I'm recording at the beginning of October. I saved this to read during October. I love that cover. And what this book is about, it's 1984. It is in Coventry, Massachusetts. It's Halloween. And you've got this one guy preparing his annual Halloween walk. Are they going to give me his name? Because I don't remember anybody's name in here. I could just look in the first chapter. It's something Barbosa. Tony Barbosa. He does an annual Halloween walk. This is going to be the last time because of circumstances. He and his family are going to have to move. So he's setting that up. People are getting ready for Halloween. Things are happening. And these kind of spooky children are popping up here and there. And eventually we learn that they're running from the Cunning Man. And craziness ensues. And the whole story takes place, except for maybe the last couple pages, takes place over 24 hours. Halloween day, Halloween night. Now, for the too long didn't watch crowd, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. And we'll get into some of the reasons why. Not all of them, because I can't. Don't want to spoil things. But 5 out of 5 stars. So if that's all you care about, you can stop watching now, I guess. But if you want to hear a little bit more about this, here we go. First of all, Christopher Golden, great writer. Been a fan of his for a long time. Plenty of his stuff I haven't read. I've missed out on some. But I'd like to pick up his stuff and read it. And especially, he has some series. But this is standalone, as far as I know. And those I really enjoy usually. Is like just standalone stuff, doing something different. So as far as this story goes, so his writing is he's a very straightforward writer. He doesn't get overly verbose. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I love Stephen King generally, but I like a nice straightforward storyteller who's not going to get bogged down in describing the minutia of certain things. I know some people like that. I can live with it if it's done well by the right author, but I prefer a nice, straightforward story, writing-wise. And Christopher Golden provides that, and he provides interesting and flawed characters, which is flawed in a good way. You know, there's nobody that's Doc Savage, essentially, who's a perfect sort of character, or Superman for the masses. For those who don't know who Doc Savage is, as much as I love Doc Savage and pulpy characters, these are realistic characters with faults. And the one possibly negative thing I could say about this, and the thing that almost kept this from being a 5, is that the first part of the book, there's a lot of drama. Like, save the drama for your mama kind of drama. But it is character building. And eventually, when we get to the craziness, it all comes together. There's a purpose for it. But it did seem there was just a point. Maybe I was tired. I was working. But there's a point where I was just a little bit like, okay, I get it. These people have problems in their family. But there's so much good, it completely overshadows that. So each chapter is a person. Each chapter title, I mean, they're not really chapter titles, it just tells you who the person is, who's the focus of that chapter. So we have multiple POVs. We've got Tony Barbosa. He's our first one. He's married, has kids, a son and a daughter. He does this annual charity Halloween walk through the woods, and um, it's he and his daughter bond over it. I believe she's 17. He's got a younger son. He bonds with his son by going fishing. Bonds with his daughter with this Halloween walk. But there's some financial trouble because he lost his job, and maybe some other trouble in the family. And then we meet some of the other characters. There's the Sweeney family. They're the ones with all the drama, the worst drama. And that's Mr. and Mrs. Sweeney. I don't remember all the first names. They have 2 sons and a daughter. I do remember Julia is the daughter's name. And then there's Violet? What is her name? Vanessa. I knew it started with a V. Vanessa Montez. She is a teenager, kind of a goth back in 1984. Goes for that dark, like, this isn't a spoiler. She dresses up as Susie Sue from Susie and the Banshees for this Halloween. So we meet her. She's one of the characters that we get POV, and her best friend, and different things. And then there's just all sorts of characters, different POVs. We're following them through the Halloween day as they're preparing for different things. You know, some people are going trick or treating. There's going to be there's a big block party. This all takes place, for the most part, on Parmenter Road, where all these people live. So everybody preparing for whatever they're doing Halloween night. And amongst all of this preparation and meeting the characters, we get these glimpses of these spooky children. And we don't know what's going on. Just a little creepiness building up to Halloween night. Once the block party is going to get started, once the haunted walk is going, once the trick-or-treaters are out, that's when things really get crazy. We meet these creepy children and find out that they're running from the Cunning Man, and we meet-ish eventually, and then definitely meet the Cunning Man, and horror ensues. Blood and creepiness and violence and gore and twists and turns, and just absolutely all the stuff that made this for me a 5 out of 5 star book. There are definitely twists and turns, and Christopher Golden builds these characters up enough that at least I felt something every time something happened with these characters. By the second half of the book, good or bad, I'm cheering for them. I feel good when something goes their way, and I feel terrible when something bad happens, and I feel the tension. What is going to happen? This is building up. They're in danger. Are they going to get out? What's going to happen? And I'm going to say Christopher Golden pulls no punches with some of the things that go on in this book. And there are things that I found very surprising. Twists I didn't see coming. So, I don't know. What else is there to say without giving anything away? You know me, I hate giving away spoilers. Try to avoid it if I can. So, yeah, just great characters, great tension building, just great storytelling all around. One of the reasons, or a perfect example of why I'm going to keep reading Christopher Golden. Not everything I've read of his is a 5 out of 5. Some have been a little disappointing. I don't think anything's lower than like a 3 out of 5. I've liked everything I've read, but certainly not to the degree that I absolutely just loved this. Perfect October reading. Oh, and I think I'm assuming the reason it's in 1984 is, one, that's just a great time for horror. I don't want to be cynical and say it's because of Stranger Things and everybody's, going the nostalgia route, because I don't think this is that type of story. It It's not hitting you over the head with the 1984-ness of it. I'm assuming the main reason is cell phones would negate a ton of things that happen in this story. Because it would be so incredibly easy for people to just grab their cell phone and do something. And find some, there are people looking for other people, and they literally have to look for them. They can't just grab their cell phone and call them and say, hey, where are you? So I'm assuming that's the main reason it's set in 1984, and that works perfectly fine. There's no reason not to do it that way. Excuse me. Anyway, highly, highly recommend it. You can read it any time of year, but it's perfect Halloween reading. All Hallows by Christopher Golden, 5 out of 5. All right. Question for this video. As always, someday I'm going to think ahead. Let's go with, what is your favorite Halloween book? Or Halloween themed, or October themed. So, not just what is your favorite scary book, but it has to be focused around October, the fall, Halloween. For me, I don't have an answer because I never think ahead. The Haunted Forest Tour is really great. It's James A. Moore and Jeff Strand. I was going to make that sort of an annual Halloween read, and then I just didn't. But I should start reading that, or at least read it again on maybe next Halloween, because I already have plans for this October. Of course, this video is going to be out in like November or December. All Hallows, great. That's up there. I mean, the Pine Deep trilogy by Jonathan Mayberry was great. This is a tough question. Why do I ask such tough questions? You people have time to think about it. You can take all the time you want before you reply. I'm recording this. I'm live, and there's no editing. Trying to think of Halloween books. And I just don't know. I will say there is finally a new edition of the novelization of the original Halloween coming out, and I'm very excited. I actually had a first edition paperback copy of the novelization of Halloween, but being an idiot and someone who sometimes, I always have bills to pay. Sometimes I don't have the money to pay those bills, and so I have to sell things. I long ago got rid of my copy of Halloween, and finding it on the secondary market, you got to have lots and lots and lots of. If I bought that book, I'd immediately have to resell it to pay my bills. So there's a new edition of that coming out with lots of pictures and stuff. It's gonna be like a picture book. Not like a picture book, but it's gonna have I think behind the scenes photos and maybe some other stuff. Anyway, so who knows? That maybe next year that'll be my favorite Halloween book. Haunted Forest Tour is definitely up there. I think it was last year I read Lucy A. Snyder's short story collection that I cannot remember the name of, but that was fantastic. I really, really liked that one. I think it's over there somewhere, but I can't read that far away. I can picture the cover. It's a Lynn Hanson cover. Beautiful cover. I just don't remember what it's called, but you could find it. Lucy A. Snyder. That was a really great short story collection. I read some Keelan Patrick Burke as well that was really good. And I can't remember the name of that either. I really should plan ahead when I make these videos. But anyway, what about you? Do you have a favorite Halloween or October fall themed horror book? Let me know in the comments below. Comments are open for comments, questions, corrections. If you, wow, that was just wrong. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on the Low Budget Review Show. I think you might be able to tell it's late. And this is the last video I'm doing. Thank goodness. For you, I think. Yeah, just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the usual YouTube stuff. If you'd care to follow me on other social media, as of this recording, at Twitter, I am at Ronan5757. On Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, it's Eric Smith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. And if you're on Blue Sky, I am at EL Smith. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.